first part of my act for a second there. I'll just repeat the question. Is anybody here on Facebook?
Woo!
Yeah? Okay. Well, those of you that are on Facebook may know that we did a wonderful thing this week. We abolished child abuse. Are you aware of this? All you had to do, it turns out it was quite easy. All you had to do was change your profile picture to a cartoon character from your youth. And as is my understanding, that is now the end of child abuse. So give yourselves a round of applause. We did it together. Yeah, so I mean, if only we'd have known sooner that that's all we had to do. I mean, how much money have we spent and how much time on, donating to charities and buying awful pop records? I mean, somebody really should tell the likes of Bob Geldof, Bono and Sting that their services are no longer required. It's all, the job's done for them. You don't need to tell Michael Jackson, he's dead. And I'm not entirely convinced he would have been involved with this particular campaign. Not without a very dark sense of irony. So yeah, that's child abuse gone. Awesome. I actually myself was abused as a child. Well, not really. My parents made me train as a dancer in my youth. Tap and jazz were my specialities. You have to try and speak clearly when you say a phrase like tap and jazz. If somebody mishears you, they think that you spent your childhood masturbating. Which I did, actually. I'm not ashamed of it, but that's what I'm talking about at this particular moment. I don't want you to think I was some kind of pre-adolescent sex pest. I was an adolescent sex pest, no doubt about it, but not pre-adolescent. I'm not like somebody like Hermione from Harry Potter. I am basing that on something. If you just hear me out. I mean, any 11-year-old girl that can master control of the wand with such vigorous aplomb, I think is slightly dubious. I think we know what J.K. Rowling's subtext was on that one. But anyway, I'm digressing. Tap and jazz. Yeah, when the recession started, I decided to go back to tap and jazz. I didn't want to, but I needs must. And I learned a valuable lesson, ladies and gentlemen, that I'd like to impart on you now. It turns out that memory and muscle memory are not necessarily the same thing. See, just because you know in your mind, when you're auditioning for Swan Lake, that your leg has to go up here somewhere, it doesn't mean that your hamstrings are necessarily going to comply with the deal. So that was the end of my dance career again. Or so I thought. You see, when I was unemployed for a while, I was looking through the papers and I noticed an advert for a new club opening near where I live, a place called Studs. Now, looking at the advert and everything, I thought it was going to be some kind of biker bar. The logo, it had two leather-clad fellas holding the fists out at each other. I thought, cool, biker bar would be like From Dusk Till Dawn. Less vampires, probably, but From Dusk Till Dawn anyway. It turns out I was wrong. Not about vampires, they don't exist, I know that now. But yeah, it turns out that the misunderstanding was that when they were asking for flexible staff, they weren't talking about the hours. And it also turns out that Hell's Angels and the like aren't the only subculture with a penchant for moustaches and tight leather. But I got the job. So that was okay. I was working there for a while. It was pretty good. I got on well enough with the clientele and the staff and the owner, Mr. Barrymore. He was very accommodating. But then there was another misunderstanding. Things went a bit wrong. See, it turns out that not being part of this subculture, I didn't know that when they asked me to toss the salad, it didn't actually refer to anything culinary. So now I have experience with ass to mouth. So that's good, got that going on. And around the time this was happening, my girlfriend, Amy, she decided that it was about time that she saw other people. And around this time I started to drink quite a lot. And I have this online blog that I do. Those of you that are on Facebook are probably not aware of it, but it's called Shane's Blog. And there was an incident. I got a little bit drunk a little bit naked, and it was all very embarrassing. But that particular upload got more viewings than anything else I'd ever put on there, so I thought, okay, I know now what my audience wants. So I blog in the nude now. And this in itself led to another incident. You see, a couple of weeks after me and Amy split up, I went round to her house, our house as I used to call it, and it turns out she had a new boyfriend. Things were said, accusations were made, and I came out of it with a black eye. So I blogged about it. Anyway, as I was doing this, he came around to apologise, which was, you know, very big of him and everything. And yeah, I think a mix of the painkillers, the concussion, and the scotch all contributed to my forgetting that I blog in the nude. So yeah, I went downstairs to answer the door, a little bit drunk, a little bit naked, and for reasons that I still can't quite fathom, sporting a magnificent erection. Yeah, you're laughing, he didn't like it. So I ended up with another black eye, and I'll leave you now with the visual image of my laid out on the floor with not one, not two, but with 3 bulging peepers. Thank you very much. I've been Shane.